Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivarodhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivarodhari Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Pramanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Gita Sahasramidam Punyam Yapadet Prayate Puman Vishnu padam avapnoti bhaya-soka-divarjita Gita dhyayana silasya pranayama parasya cha Naivam shantihi papani purvajanmo kritani cha maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit gita-amrita-snanam samsara-malanasanam Gita sugita kartavya kimanne sasra vistare ya swayam padmanabhascha mukhat padma vinishrite bharatamrita sarvasam vishnu vaktram vinishrite Gita gangorakam pitva punarjanmana vidyate sarvopani sadoghavo doktam gopalanandana pata varsa surir bhukta doktam gita-amritam mahat ekam sastram deviki putra gitam eko devo deviki putreva eko mantra tasya namani yani karmapi ekam tasya devasya seva. So these are the wonderful prayer by Lord Shiva. You can find it in the Gita Mahatmya. Lord Shiva explains to Mother Parvati what are the benefits a person can gain by taking up seriously on the studying and practicing the knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita. First thing Lord Shiva told Parvati that by seriously taking the message of Bhagavad-Gita, one becomes free from all kinds of fear. Generally, in the material world, we have got many kinds of fear, but the ultimate fear is death. Even the death happier before someone who have seriously taken up the studies of Bhagavad-Gita. And even the death come in front of them, they have become fearless. This is what Lord Shiva told Mother Parvati. And he says that the human being not having peace and happiness in their life due to their previous life karma. By seriously following the path of Bhagavad-Gita, one becomes free from the previous life karma and attain happiness and peace in his life. The third thing Lord Shiva said is that to cleanse our body, we take bath in the normal water by taking bath in the water of Ganga of Bhagavad-Gita. All our karmic reaction will be taken away from us. And the fourth thing he told Parvati Devi is that in Kali Yuga it's very impossible for people to read every Vedas and the Veda Angas and so on. Practically people would have become lazy in Kali Yuga, and practically people who don't have interest in reading Bhagavad Gita, they don't know the benefit of reading Bhagavad Gita. He said in Kali Yuga that people won't have the interest in reading all kinds of scripture. And he says, but there is no requirement for people to read all kinds of Vedas and scripture. Just by reading Bhagavad Gita alone, he attains all the benefit of reading all other scripture, because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says in India, Bharatvarsha, there's a beautiful river, Ganga is flowing in India. By bathing in Ganga, by drinking the water of Ganga, one becomes free from all kinds of sinful reaction. Because the Ganga river is emanated from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, by hearing the Bhagavad Gita, by practicing Bhagavad Gita, one attains all the benefit of bathing in the Ganga. Just like the Ganga is emanated from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, similarly the Bhagavad Gita is emanated from the lotus mouth of the Supreme Lord. And finally he says that the time will come in future. The whole world will be tired of reading different kinds of Vedic literature. They only will be looking for the essence, one scripture. The time will come that the whole world will accept Bhagavad-Gita to be one scripture for the whole world. And people will become tired of worshipping at different kinds of gods in their life. They will look for one God, the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna will become one Lord for the entire human society. And people will be looking for one service. The service to the Supreme Lord will become the ultimate duty of human life. And finally, people will be looking for one mantra. And the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So any intelligent person, they can understand this information from Gita Mahatmya by Lord Shiva to Goddess Parvati. Surely they will become a devotee of the Lord, but unfortunately, in Kali Yuga is quite difficult to find intelligent people. This has been mentioned by Saunaka Rishi in the Naimasaranya forest. Prayena paisa sabhya. Kalau asmin yuge jana manda sumanda madiyo manda habagya ubhatrita. Then in Kali Yuga, people will have a short life, and that will be quarrel and argument. Even when two people comes together, people will become very lazy, they will be misguided, they will become very unlucky, and although they be materially properly situated with material opulences, still their mind become very disturbed in Kali Yuga. So even the statement by Lord Shiva is very sublime, very interesting. And we see that just by taking shelter of the teaching of the Bhagavad-Gita, you practically become free from all kinds of fear. You practically become free from all kinds of reaction. You practically attain, the benefits of bathing in the Ganga water. Practically, everything becomes very possible and easy in human life. So that is the Bhagavad-Gita, very important knowledge brought by the Lord. So today we are going to read the chapter 6, text 8 of this Bhagavad-Gita, chapter entitled Jnāna-yoga. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā. kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. yukta ucyate yogī. yukta ucyate yogī. sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ. sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā. kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. yukta ucyate yogī. sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā. kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. yukta ucyate yogī. sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ.
jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā. kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ. yukta ucyate sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ yukta iti ucyate yogī sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ
Jnana by acquired knowledge, vijñāna and realized knowledge, tṛpta satisfied, ātmā a living entity, kūṭa-sthaḥ spiritually situated, vijita-indriyaḥ sensually controlled, yukta competent for self-realization, iti thus, ucyate is said, yogī a mystic, sama equipoised, loṣṭra pebbles, aśma stone, kāñcanaḥ gold. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We are very much indebted to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Even though the life is full of challenges, tests and tribulation and miseries are there, by this simple translation and purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada, our life has transformed for better. Almost we have become nil to the problem of materialistic way of life. Almost we have become free from test and tribulation. And almost most of the time we are very peaceful and happy in our life. Just simply by the contribution by Srila Prabhupada. This one, a simple verse, if we can take it inside us, we try to understand this verse, in more details. By reading again and again on this Prabhupada's, purport, surely this one very verse is already good enough for us to transcend the modes of material nature. So we are very indebted to Prabhupada for giving us this great opportunity, especially to come to Vrindavan and to sit and hear. His message is very wonderful. So the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is here. The translation. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called the yogī or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones or gold, as the same. Purport. Book knowledge without realization is the supreme truth is useless. This is stated as follows. Ada Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Griyam Indriya Sevan Mukhe e Jivadav Swayameva Spruti Ada. No one can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, quality and pastime of Sri Krishna through his materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by transcendental service to the Lord are the transcendental name, form, quality and pastime of the Lord revealed to him. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-234. This Bhagavad-Gita is the science of Krishna consciousness. No one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with the person who is in pure consciousness. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna, because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions, but by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled, because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, of no great value than pebbles or stones. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjano Salakaya Chaksurhanmulitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagano Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Aripriye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā kūṭa-stho vijitendriyaḥ yukta ucyate yogī sama-loṣṭrāśma-kāñcanaḥ. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones or gold, as the same. So here, very wonderful information being given by the Lord. How we can become equipoised in the material world. How by having a self-realization in our life, we are able to transcend the three modes of material nature. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, is not just enough by acquiring the knowledge alone without putting it into application, practice. Knowledge becomes realized knowledge by applying the knowledge in our day-to-day life. And the benefit when we apply this knowledge into our life. Today we travel around the world. We visit a lot of different temples around the world. I see more or less there are temples, that some either small or big problems are going on among the devotees' life. Because devotee, some have become very expert in talking about the knowledge, but they not have become expert in applying the knowledge into their life. When talking, they are talking the knowledge, but when it comes to the application, when they are put into real test and tribulation of life, they mainly apply their personal emotion, which Krishna condemns Arjuna. Kūṭa-stho kasmalamidam visame samupastitam anaryam justam asvargyam akriti karam Arjuna. Krishna inquired from Arjuna where these impurities have come upon you. It is not befitting for somebody who knows the higher level of life. It takes them more degradation of life. So we are, as a devotee, we must understand there is nothing problem in the organization. But as long as the organization in the material world, we go through different tests and tribulation, because that is the very nature of the material world. In the chapter 8, text 15 and 16 onward, Krishna talks about this thing. Mamupetya punyajanma dukalayam asaswatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gatam. Abrahma bhuvanaloke punaravartino harjuna mamupetyantu kaunteya punajanmana vidyate. As long as we are in the material world, and Krishna said the nature of the material world is that it's temporary and is full of miseries. So our ISKCON organization also in the material world, even though there is nothing to do with the material world. Like when Prabhupada was asked by a reporter, what happens after you depart from the world? Prabhupada says, I won't depart from the world. I will live for next 10,000 years through my lectures, through my instruction, through my books. And the reporter asked Prabhupada, who will manage this organization after you depart from the world? Prabhupada said, nobody is qualified to manage this organization. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will personally manage this organization. It is Mahaprabhu's organization. So the problems of the material world is there, but you got something transcend beyond the effect of this material world, provided that we read Bhagavad-Gita, Prabhupada books, scrutinizingly. Prabhupada says devotees should do 4 things in their life. Number 1, they should take care of their health. He says health is very important. Without having a good health, you won't be able to serve Krishna nicely. So number 1, devotees should take care of their health. Number 2, Prabhupada said they should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Number 3, every day they should do some service for the pleasure of the Lord. And number 4, they should read my book every day. Very simple. Prabhupada instructions, guidance are very simple. That you take care of your health, which is very important. And you take care of your chanting, which is also very important. And you render some service to Krishna, which is also very important. And to do all those things, you must have intelligence. You read Prabhupada books, you get all the intelligence from his book. So in this way, that somewhere or other we face different kind of problems due to our own lackingness in applying the knowledge into our day-to-day life. Arjuna spoke a very important things to Krishna in the first chapter of Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna wants Arjuna to kill all these enemies. the man who was sitting on the other side of the Pandavas. Arjuna said, Kula saya pranasanti kula dharmo sanatana dharma nastam kulam Krishna dharmo bibhavati utta. There is kula dharma, there is eternal dharma is there. Family tradition is there. By killing the man, who will follow this dharma? Arjuna gives a very good reason why he cannot kill all these men. But Prabhupada writes in the purpose, is that Krishna is not agreeing everything Arjuna says, because Arjuna only spoke partial truth. He is not only just talking that what is dharma, but another way is that he is more interested into the opponents, all his grandfather, all his relative and friends. And he has had some selfish interest within himself. That after killing all these people, if I become the ruler, they won't be around to see and appreciate my ruling. And he was looking into the selfish interest on the bodily concept of life. So Krishna takes Arjuna to another level of understanding. That he teach him about Sankhya Yoga, and he also teach him about the Buddhi Yoga, application of the simply understanding I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul is not alone is good enough. You have to apply it so that you gain the self-realized knowledge. And what is the benefit of self-realized knowledge? Krishna gives 17 symptoms, 17 benefits by becoming realized of ourselves. There is there in the chapter 18, text 51, 52, 53, 54. Buddhaya visudaya yukta distamanam yamanacha sabdadin visayam tyaktva ragadvesa vyudasya cha viviktavesi salvagi yatava kaya manasan dhyana yogam paro nityam vairagyam samapasrita ahankara baladarpam kama krodha parigraha vimuchya nirmama santo brahma bhuyaya kalpate brahma bhuta prasanatmo na sochati na kansati sama sarvesu bhutesu bhaktim labate param bhaktya mam abhijanati yavane chasmi tadvataha tato mam tadvato gyata visate tat anantaram. The benefit of becoming a self-realized. How we become self-realized? By imbibing this knowledge and by applying the knowledge into our life. We become self-realized. We transcend the modes of material nature. By becoming self-realized, number one, Krishna says your intelligence becomes purified. It's very important you fight back all the elements of this material world by purified intelligence, spiritual intelligence. The chapter 3, text 36, Arjuna inquired from Krishna, Adakena prayuktam cha papam charanti purusaha anichanapi vrishneya baladeva niyojita. What impels wants to forcefully indulge into sinful activities? And Krishna answered, Kamayesa, Krodayesa, Rajoguna, Samudbhava, Mahasano, Mahapapma, Vidhiinam, Vairinam. He says only the lusty desire which have arisen from the mode of passion. It impels a person to go into a sinful life. Dome avrito vanir yadodar se malinescha yadol ben avrito gharba tadathenedam avritam. And these lusty desires are there in every living being in different degrees. Just like the mirror is covered by the dust, the fire is covered by the smoke, embryo is covered by the womb. Similarly, every living being in the world. They are covered by this lusty desire. Avratam jnana yeteno jnanino nitya vairina kamarupena kaunteya duspurena nalena cha. And these lusty desires covers the real intelligence of the living being. Indriyani mano buddhir asyadasthanam ucyate ete vimohayate esa jnanam vena karana. And Krishna says that, that lusty desires in human being, they covers the real intelligence of the living being. And the lust is seated in the senses, in the mind, in the intelligence of the living. Prabhupada writes beautiful purport. He says Krishna is very kind. He's not only talking about the enemy in your life, but he's telling where the enemies are seated in yourself so that you can kill the enemy very easily. Where the enemies are sitting, the enemy is the lusty desire, your own desire. Is seated within the senses, within the mind, within the intelligence of the living being. Indriyani parani ahor indriyabhyo paramana paratrastu palo buddhi. He says that further that you are not this mind, you are not the intelligence, you are not the body. You are parani, you are above all those things, you are the spirit soul. And Krishna finishes the 3rd chapter, text 43, Evam buddhe param buddhva samsayatmana atmanaha jai satram mahabhavo kamarupa duresa. The greatest enemy of life is lusty desire. He says, he does, the doubts and ignorance and arise in your heart due to this lusty desire. Cut them off by the weapon of transcendental spiritual knowledge. So it's very important for us to become self-realized so that our intelligence can become purified. It's a very simple subject matter and very easy, provided we put it into our life in whatever condition we are in, whether we are brahmachari, whether we are grihastha, whether we are temple president, whether we are leaders of the organization, any situation. We have to understand that without self-realization, we are not going to become equipoised in the material world. And the self-realization, how it comes? By imbibing the knowledge in the book of Prabhupada. And by applying it, you become self-realized. And what are the benefits you get? Number one, Krishna says your intelligence becomes purified. In the chapter 3, 43, Krishna says, Evam buddhe param buddhva, you fight, kill the demon, the lusty, Mr. Lust within your life by the purified intelligence, by spiritual intelligence. So to fight back the elements, the enemy within ourselves, we need to have that, spiritual intelligence, purified intelligence. Like a water, we have filtered the water and drink the water. Otherwise, it brings in different, negative effect in our body. Similarly, there's a material knowledge is there. But this knowledge has to be purified. When it becomes spiritual, and how it comes? By imbibing the knowledge and applying the knowledge, it becomes self-realized. So, the Krishna says, number one, your intelligence becomes purified. Number two, your mind becomes controlled. Number three, you become free from the object of sense gratification. Number four, there won't be any attachment and hatredness towards any living being in the world. Number five, you will be finding a secluded place to practice bhakti. And number six, you eat moderately little what is required for the maintenance of body. Number seven, you are able to control your mind, your intelligence, and your speech. Number eight, you become detached from everything in the material world. Number nine, you always in trance, you're conscious of Krishna. Number 10, you become free from false ego. Number 11, you become free from false pride. Number 12, you become free from false strength. Number 13, you become free from lust. Number 14, you become free from anger. Number 15, you give up the acceptance of the materialistic way of life. Number 16, you give up the false claim of the proprietorship of the world. And number 17, Krishna says you become very peaceful in your life. Simply by how? Simply by becoming self-realized. And Krishna further says 1854, Brahma bhuta prasannatmo na sochati na kansati sama sarvesu bhutesu madbhaktim labate param. That there is no more, you come to the platform of Brahma bhuta, transcendental. And there is no more anchoring and lamentation in the world here. You become equipoised in your life. Then Krishna said, Bhakti-yamam abhijanati yavanechasmi tadvataha, that by practicing of bhakti unto me, that you attain all these benefits in your life. Very wonderful, very simple, very nice. Because the mind is not allowing us to take it into the practical way of life, because the mind has got a different nature. The mind either is accepting or rejecting whatever is beneficial for its materialistic way of life. Krishna talked about this thing in the chapter 6 here, text 26. Yato yato nischalati manam chanchalam astiram tato tato niyamyatat ātmā eva pasamnayet. Due to the flickering nature and unsteadiness, the mind is wandering all around. Arjuna, you bring back the mind under your control. Prasantame manasam yoginam sukham uttamam upayanti santam rajasam brahmabhuta karmasam. That those transcendentalists who are able to bring the mind under their control, they have a peaceful happiness of life beyond the mode of material nature. And Krishna says in the chapter 629, Sarvabhutastamātmānam sarvabhutani chatmani iksate yoga yuktaḥ sarvatra samadarshina. It's a very easy, you bring the mind under your control. Sometimes people look for different technique. How to bring the mind under control. There is no other technique in Krishna consciousness. Only technique is that you're conscious of Krishna all the time. Krishna says, Sarva Bhutamsa, whatever, whenever you see every living entity in the world, you see me inside them. And when you see me, you see everything else inside me. See me everywhere. Is it difficult? Prabhuji, is it difficult? It's just a matter of practice, that's all. We are able to, even we are sitting here, we are able to remember, we can think of our family members, the husband, wife, children. While sitting here, we can able to remember many things, because that is how we have practiced, to come up in our life. Similarly, if you are able to practice to see Krishna in everything, whomever you are seeing, you see Krishna inside them. And when you see Krishna, you see everybody inside Krishna. In this way, Krishna says, Samadarshana, by always seeing me in everything, you are able to bring your mind under the control. So Arjuna inquired from Krishna, Yoyam yoga tvaya prokta samyena madhusudana itasyam na pasyami chanchalavasitam sira. My dear Krishna, you already said the mind has got no foundation. It is unsteady, bridled by nature. How to bring it? Chanchalame manaha Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyam nigraham manne vayureva sudusparam. He said, I feel maybe more easy to bring the wind under the control, but the mind is going more faster than that. How to bring it? Krishna says, Asamsaya mahabhava manodu nigraham salam abhyasana tu kaunteya vairagya chakriyate. Only by vairagya, detachment, constant practice, abhyasa, constant practice and vairagya, Krishna says you will bring the mind under your control. So the mind has got a 5 state of mind is there. One is called sipita, the second is called muda, the third is called visipita, the fourth is called egagra, the fifth is called niruddha. Sipita is that the monkey-like mind. Muda is that is a donkey-like mind. And visipita is that like a butterfly type of mind. Ekagra is that slowly the mind coming under focusing. And niruddha is that is already locked, your camera, like a lens you got, you already locked the object. Now you chase the object and then you lock the object. So the Shastra says, sipita mind is like a monkey kind of mind, it becomes very restless. That kind of mind is then human being. And number 2 is that muda, like a donkey kind of mind. Everything is easily available everywhere, but he works like a donkey. The mind makes him like a donkey. And like a butterfly mind, the butterfly, he sits, while sitting he is already flying to another place. These are the states of mind. Now ekagra. Now with your camera you are trying to take some picture or object, moving object you are taking. So you are trying to bring the camera into the object moving. And at one point you lock the lens of the camera and is already captured. So the mind goes through that thing. And what is this mind? Mind is made of 17 elements. 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses. There are 5 kinds of air are there: prana, apana, vyana, kurma and naga. Prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana. And there is mind and intelligence. Mind work is that accepting and rejecting, but the discrimination of whether to accept or not accept, it comes from the intelligence. So the mind is made of these 17 elements, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, 5 kinds of air, mind and intelligence. Now all those things taken into a 4 part, that is called mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. These 4 things taken as one as the antakarana body. When we die, this antakarana body carries the soul towards another destination. So in this way we have to study the nature of the mind, how the mind has been made, and how to bring the mind under control is that you have to bring in the spiritual emotion. Mind cannot be easily controlled because the mind has got the kinds of nature which is unsteady, which is flickering, which has no foundation. Only by the spiritual emotion. Because the mind, to control the mind, your heart has to be very soft. There are 2 kinds of heart is there in the living being. Krishna talks about this thing, 16th chapter, Dvabhuta Sarga, Lokesm, Daivam, Asura. There are 2 kinds of human being here. One is Daivam, one is, divine, another one is demoniac. So only you are able to, bring in, the mind under control when you can make your heart more softer. You cannot capture any living being by your hardcore of thinking. That you are too heavy in everything. Nobody wants to be your friend. But when you are soft and very kind and very lovable, everybody wants to be your friend. So similar way, mind has to be, spiritually, acted with the spiritual emotion. And what is that spiritual emotion? It is the Mukhya-rati and Gauna-rati. Mukhya-rati is that originally we have got sambandha with Krishna. Santa, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. And what is the Gauna-rati is that Asya, Adbhuta, Virya, Karuna, Raudra, Bhayanaka and Bibhitshaka, there are 7 secondary emotions there within the living being. Now as a devotee, either you are in the Dasya platform, either you are in the Sakya platform, Madhurya platform, you stay in your platform. Now there are secondary level of emotion is there, which is asya. There's a jovial mood is there in the living being. It's not even the gopis, Radharani, very great devotees of the Lord, but they also very jovial in times. They're making jokes with Krishna, playing around. So there is asya. There's a jovial mood in the living being. There is no adbhuta, there are extraordinary mood in the living being. There is virya, chivalry mood of the living being. There is karuna, compassion mood in the living being. There is raudra, anger, angry mood of the living being. Bhayanaka, there is a fear mood of living being. Bibhitsaka, there is frustration mood. All these elements, all these emotions are there in every living being. So those who are not connected with Krishna, it acts, the anger becomes, material emotion. The fear becomes a material emotion. The frustration becomes material. The moment you connect into the service of Krishna, the same material emotion is transformed into a spiritual emotion. When your spiritual emotion taking place, it captures the mind. There is no technique in other way. Only ways is that you've been controlled by an emotion. All the problem in the world, in people's life, is due to their emotion. So only way problems because of your emotion, because it's materially it's acting, is not connected with Krishna. When you properly connect yourself in Krishna consciousness, then it activate the spiritual emotion that capture your mind and easy to bring it under control. It's a very easy process. All you have to do is one thing only. What you have to do? The audience? You take the spiritual knowledge from Prabhupada and you apply it. That's it. Nothing else, other thing you have to do, how to learn the technique to do any of these things is not. For the materialistic people, it becomes very difficult for them to do. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj says, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing when you wake up, he says, you take a shoe and beat your mind 100 times. When you're going to bed, before going to bed, you take a broomstick and beat your mind 100 times. For a devotee, there is no requirement for you to do, because you beat your mind with Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. There was a reporter asked Prabhupada, have you got lusty desire? Prabhupada says, I have got lusty desire, but I have no time for it. It is there in every living being, whether you take it grihastha, whether you take it sannyas, whether you take it any ordinary human being. These desires are there in a different level. But only way to bring the desires under control by applying it in Krishna consciousness. In this way, it becomes very easy. So as a devotee, my only advice is that be serious about imbibing the knowledge. Every day you read Prabhupada books, and then try to apply it in your life. When things are happening around you, whether positive or negative, don't interact with your personal emotion. See Krishna in everything. Krishna is easy to bring mind under control. How? When you see him, you see everything inside him. When you see everything else, you see Krishna through him. Then you are able to bring it under your control. So there is a story of Dundubi and Gokarna. They are brothers, but one is divine, one is the devotee of Krishna, Gokarna, and his brother Dundubi is a materialistic man who has left his own family, got connected with prostitutes, and he was keeping some girls with him, and he was becoming a big robber. And the leaders of the country, wanted to catch him and punish him. So all these prostitute lady was keeping with him. They were very afraid one day the king may get him. If we captured him and we also will be implicated into the problem, only way they thought, kill him, finish him off. So they boiled ghee, and the boiled ghee, they put it into the ear and they killed him. And he became a ghost. So he don't know what to do. He went to his brother, Gokarna, please help me. Gokarna went to, Gaya, he went did lot of a different kind of rituals, shraddha, everything, but still the problem is not solved. He was hanging around in a subtle body. Then he says, my dear brother, you are devotee, please, you are the only person who can help me. So Gokarna been advised by the senior sages, they say that you recite Bhagavatam 7 days for him. So he said, okay, I'm going to recite Bhagavatam 7 days. It's been, advertised. A lot of people came and said to hear the Bhagavatam. And in the midst of that crowd, his brother, Dundabi, with a subtle body sitting, nobody knows, the ghost is sitting there. So after the 7th day of Bhagavatam, and the chariot came from the Vaikuntha and picked up, Dundubi, and then they were ready to leave. And that time the other people, other audience, other devotees, in the crowd, they said to Gokarna, it's very unfair. But we also sat together with these men, we also heard the Bhagavatam in the 7 days. But only he got, liberation, but we are not getting it. That's very unfair. How come? And Vishnu Dutta, they said that time, you may be seated together with every other people. He said that. Importantly, that you have, put it into the application in your life. All you people, Vishnu Dutta said, you come in the morning, you hear the Bhagavatam, go back in the evening, you go back and then you do your own things in your house. But this Dundabi didn't go anywhere. He sat there and mentally he was practicing everything, whatever you heard. And he said, for that reason, he has been liberated. Vishnu Dutta says to Gokarna, the knowledge which is unstable will never help you to come to the Vaikuntha. The knowledge which is coming from the doubtful source also not very good for you. And he says that, hearing without, attention is no good. And chanting without, attention is also not proper. And he says faith without, in the spiritual master also not very good. And staying in a place where there is no Vaishnava is also not very good. And family without ethic principles also no good. Oblation offered by, to the forefathers by unqualified person is no good. Charity given to the unqualified person is no good. And, every practice of your life without humility is also no good. He said, with this kind of defect, you cannot come back to Vaikuntha. And everybody was very sad, we are not able to go. That time, Vishnu Dutta says, never mind, don't worry. Always there is a second chance. Now he told Gokarna, you call them again, next round. And now the next round comes, they must know that these rules must be followed. That you take the knowledge, apply the knowledge. He said, I'll come back next round, I'll take whoever follow this knowledge. And he told Gokarna, to you, Krishna personally will come. Because you have taken the trouble to impart the knowledge for the welfare of every living being. So our life, our Krishna consciousness become very easy, very beautiful, very successful. All we have to do is that you imbibe the knowledge and apply the knowledge into your life, and it becomes a self-realized knowledge. And what that gives you, number one, it gives you, purify your intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Krishna said the biggest enemy in your life is that the lust. You can finish off the lust, by purified intelligence. Udare ātmā natmanam avasadiyat. Chapter 6:5 onward, Krishna explained, the mind is the friend and enemy of the living being. One should uplift their life by the help of the mind, not to degrade them. He said, those who have controlled their mind, the mind becomes the best friend. Those who are unable to do, the mind becomes the greatest enemy. Jñāna-vijñāna-tṛptātmā, prasantātmā, paramatmā samanita. Sitosna sukadukesu tadamana pamanayo. When you are able to control, bring in control, Paramatma, the Lord Himself comes to rescue you. Beautifully Prabhupada writes, the Lord Himself comes because you are trying to control your mind and senses and everything. The Lord Himself comes, when you are attained, the super soul within yourself. It says that, the heat and cold, the happiness and distress, and honor and dishonor in your life become equipoised. You are steady all the time in your life. Very beautiful, isn't it? Thank you so much. We running out of time for being here. And I try to take the message, takeaway is that try to read Prabhupada books every day and apply it in your life. Don't be carried away by personal emotion like Arjun. Put aside on your personal emotion. How you see positively, you see Krishna is acting through this devotee, through this person. And the person is, trying to make you angry. But anger is no good if anger controls you. But if you can control the anger, the same anger is very good for you. Money is no good if money controls you. If you can control the money, money is good for you. Everything is good and bad in the world. If you can control those things, it is good. If that material thing controls you, it becomes very bad. And to do all those things, you have to see Krishna and everything. So take it as a blessing of Krishna. Put you into such situation that, able to bring you on the equipoised platform. Thank you so much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanande.